Hello, wonderful good afternoon, everyone out there in the world. Today we have the pleasure to welcome Eric Bornman from the Nubian Bride Magazine, a very wonderful and special magazine for brides of color. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you very much, Sylvia, and good afternoon to you and your viewers.
Thank you. Eric, the piece of the puzzle actually started as an initiative during actually at the beginning during the lockdown because we wanted to do something for our industry.
Okay.
And we have spoken until that almost every single day to different people from the industry, from wedding planner, florist, photographer, food companies. We all are a piece of the puzzle, and it is just a natural move that we are now talking to you as a publisher of a magazine, and in particular a magazine for brides of color, which is quite
and also couples of color.
Couples of color. Yeah, of course. Like, but for the yeah, for yeah. I don't know why I'm saying brides of color because it
We
was
are all in
Nubian
the
bride.
equal game, like not everybody say, oh, it's only for brides.
No, but it's called Nubian bride. It calls not
The-
Nubian couples.
Listen,
So-
the ladies take center stage on the wedding day, so I understand what you mean. I understand.
So maybe what we are absolutely keen to hear is how somebody that is not a bride of color and not a groom of color has come up with an idea for such a magazine. How that happened?
And when
Well-
maybe take us a little back, like in the process of like how everything started.
Okay. I'd be happy to, ladies. Thank you very much. It's not a question that I have not been asked before. In fact, a lot of people are quite shocked when they see me and they are interviewing someone from Nubian Bride. So
When
yes,
there's a Zungu actually showing up.
exactly. So I'm not a bride and I'm not of color, but that does not mean that I was blind to an opportunity within a rising trend back in 2009 when this idea was conceptualized. At the time, I was in. We were publishing other magazines. We were producing beautiful content in other niche genres, and the idea was discussed with women of color down in Johannesburg that were throwing the idea around, and we put this concept together, and in September of 2010 we launched it. Now I must be very, very clear that I am the publisher, and the strict job description of a publisher is running the business of creating content and publishing that content, whether it be in traditional formats or in contemporary formats. So I look after the business. I provide input into the strategic direction of the publication, how to structure the organization to support that strategy, and so on. So it is more of a business role than anything else. I leave the content direction and the creation of that beautiful content to more creative people, to people that are closer to the subject matter. We have got an amazing panel of contributors that support the concept of publishing something that looks at the unique bridal beauty contained in Africa, and I leave the creativity up to them.
Yeah, that
So-
is very important what you are saying. Sorry when I interrupt you at that point, because we had the pleasure actually a couple of times to work with you directly, not only sending you some of our work, but also working with you live for a project.
Correct.
And what I always found very interesting, that you give us the creative freedom. You give somehow a concept or a kind of a framework, and then one can actually do what we think is something unique or something special or whatsoever. It is different from sometimes like other works that we do where we get an exact briefing. This is what need to be done, and it's just an execution of the idea from somebody else. But being creative, like yourself, for somebody like you, is really special, and I enjoyed that.
Well, Sylvia, who would I be to tell you how to do flowers? It's that would be very presumptuous. The fact that I have a media platform does not make me an expertise in the subject matter. It makes me an expert on how to disseminate the content and how to put together a profitable magazine, how to publish the content profitably, how to satisfy the needs of an audience. That is what I'm good at, but I wouldn't dare tell you what to do. How to do a floral masterpiece. I wouldn't dare tell a wedding planner or a wedding designer how to go about their work. We are about a value network, not just a value chain where it runs linearly. We come together in a value network. Everybody providing their own set of expertise, and it is my job to collate this effort. I love going to the shoots. I love seeing how the content is created. I love engaging with the people that are creating it, so that I understand the process. I think that understanding helps me put together an edition or a segment of quality. But I would never dare tell you how to do flowers, or tell the wonderfully talented designers of wedding gowns and whatnot how to do their job. I just bring them together, and it's a pleasure doing that.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure. Actually, it's a very friendly and cooperative work environment, as I felt. It's not always like that, and I don't get paid to say that. But when something is really good, I think we can also mention this in particular.
The freedom that comes with freedom, the creativity needs freedom to flourish. So if I look, we can't let people just do whatever they want to do, because when you've got a room full of creative people and everybody wants to execute their own ideas, there'll be tension, and we've seen that before. But if it is my job to create a framework in which this collaboration can thrive, and drive it forward slowly but surely towards our objective. And we've always had wonderful times and wonderful energy on our shoots, during our creative workshops, because everybody is allowed to, within the confines of the objective, do what they do best.
Tell us a little bit about being a publisher in these days, not only in these days of COVID, but also in these days, because we're mostly during the last couple of years, we have seen magazine disappearing because publishing wasn't like economically anymore. There is profitable anymore. We have seen, just like during COVID, the last couple of weeks, there is magazines disappeared. They have been there for decades. How is it for you as a publisher for several magazines? How you see actually the movement, and where is this all going? Is it going towards that one day we will not have a paper magazine anymore? We will have only digital magazines, or will the paper never go away?
Sylvia, look, I would, I wouldn't like to say, and I wouldn't bet money on whether magazines will survive or not. I don't think that's the issue here. I think the issue is closer to what is why is a publication, and when I say a publication, I mean the collective. Mean that collectively. An online publication, a print publication, a website, these are all publications. They take content and they publish them, whichever format and wherever they do so. So the thing with Nubian Bride and why we have persisted and why we continue to thrive is the fact that we provide a real solution to a real need. Now, this is, again, is a business principle. If you solve a pain point for a business, or you plug a need for a consumer, you will be in business and you will thrive irrespective of the circumstances. Now, at the time of launching Nubian Bride, there was no publication out there that catered for the unique needs of black brides. It's a different process to their white counterparts, completely. There are cultural nuances. It is a different process, and we felt that, and we didn't just feel it, but there was more than enough market research done to indicate that there was a desperate need for a publication that looked specifically at that segment of the population and how they get married and how that nuptial process plays itself out. So, having identified that need, we started building a brand, we started building structure, and we started creating content that specifically satisfies that need. So again, whether I publish that content on physical paper, and whether I publish that on web pages or on the side of a building, it doesn't matter, because we satisfy a need, and the people that have that need will come to the content. From an advertising point of view, obviously that is what drives our business forward. It is what pays the bills. It is what generates the money to pay for the content generation. Yes. Advertisers go and have proven over time to go where the audience is and where they get good response. So if you had to position print media or print advertising relative to digital advertising, the only difference is the measurability. Digital advertising can be very, very accurately measured, and these days with performance marketing, where you only pay for conversion of an inquiry or a lead or an actual purchase, it has become even more measurable. But we have found that our audience responds readily to advertising, and we have found that given even the most basic measurement of that print media, print advertising impact or return, our advertisers have seen phenomenal returns, and they've been able to track it back to their advertising placements in Nubian Bride. Whether that be online or whether that be in the print magazine. There is a definite rise and fall as advertising appears and as magazines go off shelf for our advertisers across the board. Venues, gowns, if they put any sort of call to action into their advertising material, they see the response. So to summarize, what we have here is unique content that satisfies a need, and we have a measurable advertising medium. And those two things together make us profitable. It is a sustainable, economically sustainable business model. So we continue to do this. And of course, in today's age, you are sitting, who knows where? Where are you at the moment?
The garden route.
route, yes.
In the garden route. I'm sitting half an hour southwest of London. Okay.
Exactly.
Yes, and we are talking to each other here as if we are sitting in the next room. So
Yeah.
with technology, we can run distributed companies as well. My designer
Yeah.
is in South Africa. My editor
Yeah.
is in South Africa. I run the business from here because I'm closer to the markets that we want to expand into. So with such a distributed, agile business structure, together with our content and our measurable advertising, we've got a business that can withstand almost any macroeconomic event.
Coming maybe to the macroeconomic events, and I think, I mean, everyone who is currently following the news, following social media, Black Lives Matters is something that obviously is something that is of interest specifically to you right now and your niche market and your genre. So I guess you have a very close eye on what are the developments, particularly now in the US. But my question is, how do you see this wave is maybe also like coming to other continents, or like in a way, I mean, this is now right now Nubian Bride, like you say you want to tap into other markets, like, is this something that you see is going to push maybe even the publication further, because interest is maybe a bit higher now into also this niche market? People maybe say, you know what, yes, I need to maybe really like invest also in that market more. I need to be seen by those people more. I need to like somehow
As a brand.
as a brand, as a brand. I need to reach those people because maybe I have not done so in the past. And I mean, that is also maybe something that I want to talk about, because yesterday we have spoken to Ellie B, who is a planner in the US, a fantastic planner. But she said, for example, that just in terms of suppliers in the US, they've never mixed, you know, they've never like you now. And I think for her it would be even more surprising to see like a white male face behind a Nubian Bride publication, where she even like on just a very practical side of things says, you know, when we do events, usually
You never crossed the lines.
usually like it's really very culturally based. So we are only doing business with people who are within our circle. And I think for South Africa, actually, it is even more advanced, if I can call it. I see that lines cross, and I see that there are different vendors that work together for the best of the event, like for the best of the wedding, whether you
Yes.
are like white, Indian, colored, black, you know. So I think that is a little bit different. But just like going back to your publication, do you think like what is happening right now is actually in a way beneficial for your publication?
In a
Well,
good
look,
way.
In a good way, that there's
And
just
not
much
in a
more,
bad way, but
like there's just much more focus, and there's just much more
interest. maybe.
interest right now to say, you know what, this is maybe really something that we have missed out as a brand.
look, it may bring new readers to our fold. It certainly is not the reason why we exist. As I mentioned, you know, there was a need 10 years ago that we started satisfying. If anything, the Black Lives Matter movement makes the continuance and the growth of Nubian Bride even more important. Publications are failing. They are closing down. An iconic South African publication, Drum Magazine, it closed its doors a couple of weeks back,
Yeah.
if I heard correctly, along with other
Yes.
iconic publications like Men's Health, Women's Health, and a string of others. Now, what this means is that the pool of content that is out there to satisfy niche interests is dwindling. It's getting smaller, which means that Nubian Bride is an even more important role to play to stay afloat and to keep publishing and keep growing. Now, I want to be sensitive to different contexts, and I will not want to be seen as capitalizing or creating some sort of opportunity off the back of a very important cause. But from where I stand is that diversity, it will always make a team stronger. To address your point with your American colleagues, I think that South Africa, with its rainbow nation roots, that sort of integration and diversity has made us stronger. Yet we are yet to realize our potential as a nation, but the diversity is extremely important. So whether I'm white, pink, or yellow, I don't think that matters. I've got a business mind, and as I said, I leave the content. I don't want to pretend that I know what a Nubian bride goes through on her day or otherwise. I think I'm a subject matter expert, but I don't want to culturally appropriate that identity. So we've created a business out of satisfying a need, and I think for that we are providing a service. It is if the Black Lives Matter movement increases our readership or increases our awareness that there are diverse ways of celebrating a wedding from east to west to wherever, then fantastic. But from our standpoint, we welcome the diversity. We leave everybody to do what they do best: content, business, creative direction, strategic direction, and we simply feel that there is a bigger role to play, a more important role for us to play, to maintain that diversity and that niche interest in the readership that we serve.
But as I have seen, and I spoke to your wife in the past about that, your magazine is not or has not only a readership of Black and colored people. There is also a lot of white people. I'm sorry, a lot of white people buying your magazine, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, we've it is you know, if we look at what the Nubian Bride, what our tagline is, it's the quintessence of African bridal beauty. And what African? I'm African. I was born and raised in South Africa. I know there will be people that differ in view. That, you know, I'm a Westerner or I'm from Europe or wherever, you know, but I feel that I identify as a South African, and the fact is that there are many other people that do the same. So, and our content is now not blatantly directed at one specific, you know, segment. It is African bridal beauty, and if you want to be that, then who am I to tell you you can't be? Your content, for instance, Sylvia, the beautiful gowns, the fashion content that we publish is available to everybody and is useful to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
No, and I like that actually. That you have an open mind. That is what I want to say. It's and the reader honor this because they feel connected to the magazine.
And I think it comes back, as you said, it comes back to content. You know, I think whether you put a black or white model into just a beautiful dress, it will be a beautiful dress. You know, I mean, obviously, like, you attract like a certain readership with your name. I mean, this is just, I mean, it is like that, and it's there for a reason. And I think it's a valid publication. I think personally it's very necessary, and it's beautiful that it comes like out of South Africa in a way, even though that you are sitting in the UK, because it just gives it so much more validation that it comes from Africa. I think that's necessary, and I say this also as a white person, not even being South African or African at all. But I also just enjoy
African by heart.
Yes, but I enjoy like browsing through it, and I think that is by the end of the day the goal. You know, you want to attract people to be like interested in the content that you are providing, and I mean people here and I think that is also the beautiful thing here in Africa. They do so many amazing stuff. It's not just us; it's so many others in so many like industries, whether it's hair, makeup, cakes. I mean, like venues that are around and that cater for different needs. So I think it's just amazing that this can be also transported into other continents. You said you want to like tap into different markets.
I also
what
wanted to
what
know.
are the markets actually that you as a publisher like want to reach? Like what is your goal, or where are the channels where this publication is actually going?
Well, as I've explained, we provide a platform for for African culture to be celebrated around the event that is a wedding. And there are people in the US, there are people in the UK and Europe that do not have access to content like that. Importantly, using a black model in a fashion shoot that is otherwise strictly Western fashion is nothing but blackwashing, and that's not what we're about. Which is why, again, I'm going to go to pains to say that we bring in subject matter experts in every single one of these items, or in one of these categories, I should say, to not overlook the nuance, and for someone that is far removed from it to put their own spin on it. Okay, so let me be very clear about that. But the platform that we create for this celebration can be capitalized and used by people in the US and by the UK, and for that reason, even going back to when we just started, the idea was always to take Nubian Bride to other markets, to take that authentic African content, created, curated, and published on African soil, and take it to the world. Now, we can go full circle here with Black Lives Matter and people that have a yearning to celebrate the most important day of their lives on African soil. Okay, so if I take Oprah Winfrey as an example, she is a very keen supporter of causes in South Africa. She puts money in here. It's a cause close to her heart. There are many very powerful celebrities out there that have a close affinity to Africa.
Because it's their roots.
It's part of their
it's
history
their roots.
in a way, I mean, whether
Well,
it's been 500 years, 300 years, or just recently, I mean, it is something. And that's why actually also it's interesting. I mean, we try, like, as non-Africans, actually, we try to be in a way also ambassadors for weddings in Africa. But also obviously showcasing what beautiful things can be done here. Not only our own work, but also like other people, other countries, what people can actually expect here. Also, as a person of color, going back to their roots and celebrate, like basically also like here, maybe people from the US, like just to give them a sense of what is possible and excitement. And I think a magazine like yours as well is a huge voice for weddings in Africa, that can like go out there and inspire, like inspire people as to what is possible here, what amazing service providers are around, that like, I mean, just as a point of reference as well, to say, wow, look at that. And obviously scenery, landscapes, I mean, stuff that is just simply not like available in Europe, in the UK, or in the US. We have something here on this continent that is just so unique that like it needs to be seen, like, or like whatever platform it is, but I think that is something that at least I also admire much about your publication, that you can give it to anyone like around the world, and people will say, wow, where is this, like who has done like something like this way? And I think that is the beauty of it after all.
And I think Africa, just to add that, for a lot of people out in the world, we discussed it a lot of times here. It's just like, it's not a blank canvas, it's a black canvas. For them, it's just like, it's one black block, and that's what it is. And they even don't like differ between countries in parts of the world. So we need actually to showcase, first of all, how diverse we are as countries, as African countries, how beautiful are different areas in this on this African continent, like Kenya with the Mara, the Victoria Falls, and South Africa with all like world in the country, you know, and all of those kind of things. And I think a magazine like yours is this is what Alfie said, and I totally agree, is an ambassador for Africa.
Well, thank you. If that is how it is seen by professionals in the industry, then I'm very grateful, and I feel very proud in this moment, because our mandate is to showcase bridal excellence from suppliers in Southern Africa. We've got a wide range of collaborators we work with in the compilation of our content. We've got the best of the best advertising with us. And again, if the exposure that we have created for the brand in the UK, in the EU, in the US, ordinary couples, can bring their foreign currency to South Africa and turn what would have otherwise been a beautiful but budget wedding into a beautiful, showcase wedding. Right. And one of the things that I am actively working on is to bring together a team of diverse suppliers that answer, that address a need in every one of the categories, from venue to honeymoon to the fashion to the flowers to covering the entire spectrum, and taking our collective power, going to the right shows, expos when the world opens again, and going and presenting a united front as an African bridal pavilion, and participating on a grand scale for the collective good in an international setting, and encouraging people to bring their foreign currency into Southern Africa and getting married there. So this can only be of benefit to local suppliers in South Africa, to people that provide supplementary, maybe smaller services, and can't necessarily go to the event itself, but people that can plug into that network. That has always been, it's a dream of mine, and I'm working towards it. Finding the right show is a trick, but we'll get there. And again, it is really just about questioning the excellence that is available down there on the southern tip of Africa.
Yeah.
You know why
I think we can help you maybe out a little bit. I mean, maybe not as a showcase, but what we are planning is we're actually planning sort of a road shows for planners from around the world to come to Southern Africa, because okay. I think, I mean, apart from what you are saying, I think just seeing is believing. You need the people here that do destination weddings. They need to see and experience what African hospitality looks like, and okay. what certain level of services look like. Because I mean, I know that when we speak to people like, for example, the US, and it starts even with like, okay, I mean, South Africa, it gives away like where South Africa is. But if you say Malawi or Kenya or Botswana or some, people don't even know where it is, and I'm not blaming them, but it's a simple, like, truth, fact of the matter, that it is also in a way like and I just say our in the sense of an industry need to actually say, you know what, come here, I'm going to show you what it's like. Because I think only then people will go away and take something home that they can never really see only on pictures or only on a
TV
show
or,
or on a
yeah.
TV. And I'm not saying this is not relevant. I'm saying this is in addition to that. And I think then like a partner like you or someone who has something, because by the end of the day, it's always like that. You trust the people you have met,
Yeah.
and you're gonna like do business with the people that you have a connection with. And if they can give you a booklet or whatever, a sort of something in your hands, the first reference point that you are going to use once you're back and someone is asking you about, okay, so how do we do now a wedding in South Africa, for example, they say, okay, let me just quickly have a look. I have some at least like reference points here. And there you start the business. And I think that is something, at least from our perspective, we have already had a couple of calls. And I mean, now COVID came also a little bit in between the whole story here.
Yeah.
But I think that is something that at least we want to try to just bring people to Africa so that Africa can actually go out to the world. And I think that is something that is
And
very
therefore
dear to our heart.
we created a new platform actually recently. It calls Weddings in Africa, because there's weddings in South Africa, there's weddings in Kenya, there's weddings in all over, but weddings in Africa, and we have obviously those they have like historically a background because their families moved or to where they have a history for Africa in their own roots. That's why they want to come back to celebrate. But then you have others, they are more adventurous, you know. But
Can you still hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us? Yeah, if you know
I've
one
got you
person
back.
in China, then you go to China, you know. Even China is that big, you know. I think this is exactly what Alfie said. If we actually do our homework as Africans, and I say as Africans, and I include us because we live here, to invite people from all over the world to get to know Africa, then they don't fear anymore. It's not something unknown to them anymore. I think this is the main goal. And I would be happy. We would be happy to collaborate in a certain way with your project, because this is
it's to the benefit, you know. Anything that's happening in Africa is just for the better for anyone who is somehow in the industry. It's not about just us, it's about the industry. And I think right now we need every currency, we need every couple, we need everyone that is interested,
visitor, every tourist
in coming here, because I mean, as you know, the this year looks rather sad. There's not much happening in 2020 in terms of weddings, sadly. My question maybe would be like, just for maybe also the listeners, how like regularly are you publishing your magazine? I mean, I know, but just that you just said, and how are you creating content now, or how are people actually contributing right now so that you like can basically feed the next edition?
Well, it is interesting that we feel a sense of duty to bring out a magazine, an edition, as soon as possible in the next month or two, because brides or bridal couples, for that matter, are lacking inspiration. There's a shortage of inspirational content right now, because everybody's trying to survive. Everybody's trying to get through this crisis, and it is difficult when you are in yourself in survival mode to inspire others. So we feel a sense of duty to bring out a magazine as soon as possible in order to tell people and remind them a wedding isn't planned over the course of 1 or 2 days. A wedding is planned over the course of 6 or even 12 months. So by planning now, you are planning for January 2021 or July 2021. But without that inspiration, where do they start? Without the guidance, where do they start? So we do feel a sense of duty to get a magazine out as soon as possible. Typically, we publish twice a year. And of course, that's in print. The online publication is continuous. We put content out on our, on across all of our online channels, website on a daily and weekly basis. So we are keeping the wheels slowly turning, but perhaps addressing one of your earlier questions, why print? Because print is so tactile. A wedding is a tactile thing. You smell, all your senses are being satisfied at a wedding. Everything, from the smell to the flowers to the taste of the cake, the beauty that you see. And that's why a bridal magazine in print format continues to endure, because it is part of that tactile experience. So we want to put out an issue as soon as possible. We have a theme around which we want to produce the last bit of content, and that is, let us inspire you once again. Let us ignite the flames of inspiration and give people some ideas that can, okay, look, COVID-19 2020 is what it is, but let's start planning our wedding for 2021. And we'd love for them to tap into that inspiration that we'll provide.
That's amazing, actually. I think it's needed. I mean, people, like, overall, they have been very drained. And I mean, when we're talking about couples also right now, as much as we as entrepreneurs in the industry are affected, but I mean, we must just also think about all the couples who have been who have put their dreams on hold, who have maybe put their weddings on hold. They are in rather uncertain situations, and I think even though for them, maybe for the people even that have not decided already to get married now, but the information that everyone gets out there is rather negative, generally. I mean, you switch on the TV, like, you don't want to hear everything that's happening. You switch on the radio, like, you rather not really listen carefully to all the, starting from death rates to vaccination to I don't know what. Everything is very heavy. Of course, I mean, we are in a very difficult situation out there,
even more than in Europe.
Of course,
Europe is almost through, but here we are in the middle of the scenery, as you know.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
for couples, I think this positivity, like something to hold on to, someone that says, there are good times coming, like celebration is something that that is beautiful and is not going away and is going to be safe to do that again, is rather needed.
Well, you hit on a very, it's such a sad story, and I'll share it with you, Sylvia, because you were actually the floral designer at their wedding. But do you remember Tato and Swazi, the winner of our R1,000,000 wedding at Bonadia? Swazi passed away 2 years ago from cancer, and the thing is that you've hit the nail right on the head here, is that we are absorbed in the idea that our businesses need to survive and exist, and of course it is extremely important. But the couples whose lives, all they want to do is seal their love and go through the nuptial process and get married, and their plans and their dream day has been put on hold for who knows how long. And
Yeah.
I think back at that, how important it was for Tato and Swazi to
Yeah.
to get married and to spend those wonderful days together, as limited as they were. So yes, from that perspective, we want to get a copy out as soon as possible, and to provide the necessary inspiration to kickstart things again. I think we are in an ideal position to do that.
And I remember, I will be forever grateful that I read it actually in your magazine, because you published it and you asked several questions. And she said in one of the sentences, which I actually carry a little bit like as a memory with her picture, she said it was the most beautiful moment for her to look out of the window on the wedding morning, and she looked directly towards the arch that we were preparing, and I was actually preparing the flowers there.
Yeah.
And she said to look out of the window on the wedding morning and to see my flowers on the flower arch are prepared. So this is something that for me is always a connection that I have to her when I read this in your magazine. And this is something very special, very unique. And I think the whole wedding at that point was very, very, very special. And everyone has done a great job, and it was a beautiful wedding. And I'm very happy that we have been part of that, to create memories for someone maybe that that needed it right now.
Yeah. Well, we're hard at work behind the scenes to get this next edition published, and the website has daily content being updated. The Instagram, all of our social channels. So we're trying under difficult circumstances to keep things going.
Yeah. We all hope that the internet's not shut down, because that would be the worst case.
Yeah, goodness, no. That will be the final nail in the coffin, I think. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But here we interfered.
No, I actually just wanted to ask, I'm not too sure like how involved you are in in weddings in terms of what is happening in the UK right now. I think a lot of people maybe that are here are also eager to know, maybe not even weddings, but how is business in the UK? Like how is the situation right now? Because I mean, I think we all need a blueprint somehow, like people are looking for like what is happening out there, because right now we are in stage 3 out of 5 lockdown, which we don't even know how long it's gonna last.
Yes.
But like how is life in the UK right now for you? I mean, do you see things are slowly like getting back on track? Like how is your personal situation there?
Well, the thing is, I've been working from home. Well, I work from home as it is. My my work for Nubian Bride Media is from home in any case. So I have some local projects that I work on, and it is everybody went into lockdown, and people that can work from home. They classified essential workers early, and people pulled together and committed to a lockdown, committed to being disciplined, and committed to fighting it together. The government has been very pragmatic in typical British fashion. They've been very supportive, and there's been strong leadership. So as the lockdown has reduced, the shops on the high streets are opening. Gatherings are allowed up to a certain size, but people are reminded to be practical and use common sense when it comes to these things. And so I guess the trick is how to kickstart things again, because everything is relative. your problems are your problems because they are your problems, and they are big because of that. That he who feels it knows it, as the adage goes. But I guess, if I can say one thing that I've been impressed by is the fact that everybody's pulled together, moving in one direction, as far as beating it together, and under pragmatic leadership.
Okay. Can I ask you maybe one thing when you are in London, and this maybe ties also in being an ambassador for maybe South Africa and Africa. How do you describe where you are from? Like when you say, and I'm sure people are interested, like, wow, South Africa, like, I mean, it's always sounds very exotic in a way when you are in Europe. And people here, I mean, we don't ride elephants to go to the workplace, and we don't have to cross dangerous rivers. But in some minds, that is still something also that they think, like when they hear Africa. But how do you describe to people, like, what is Africa for you, or what is South Africa for you? What is home? You said, like, you are South African. I think you feel this even more when you are not here, like where you are from and your roots. Like, what do you tell people where you are from? How is South Africa for you?
Well, it's my place of birth, and it is. I have a yearning for my home. I lived there for 95% of my life. I think people are quite knowledgeable and have got great fondness for South Africa here in the UK, especially. A lot of people from the UK and the EU travel to South Africa regularly, so they think of it with fondness, and it is a point of. It is a point where we meet one another. There's a word that I'm thinking of now that has just slipped my mind, but we relate about on the topic, the love that we have for that part of the world. So, I simply try and be a good ambassador and focus on the positive, as opposed to spreading what certainly are some negative issues and some challenges. But it's we have to. There's no point in jumping on the negativity bandwagon. We try and do our best from where we are. And again, I sit here because I want to be closer to the markets where I'm expanding into. It is important to be here to know what the next move is, to know how we are going to attract a UK audience. This is an incredibly competitive market, not just in general terms, even more so in media, even more so in content. But we have a very unique content identity and a unique set of a unique niche focus. And to get that distributed fully here requires me to have daily conversations with people, and that's why I choose to be here. Who knows whether we come back sooner rather than later to for the next project, for the next chapter in this wonderful history that is Nubian Bride now, 10 years later.
Can I ask you, what do you miss most about South Africa? Is there some food that is not available around there? I know, I mean, I've lived many years in Dubai, and I can just say that there are just some things that you really miss, particularly when you don't have it every time. So what is it that you really miss from here?
I miss the bush at the moment, very much so. The British summer is actually a delightful time of the year. It's a beautiful sunny evening now. I have regular brides here at my house. We stay in an urban, well, sort of a suburban town on the edge of beautiful forests. And the moment that I set my feet outdoors, I miss the bush. So I really yearn for a campfire in the African bush. As far as food is concerned, yeah, a typical braai, a typical, cooking outside. Yeah, well, you know what? There's plenty of.
There's nothing. I'm not laughing because I can just feel you. You know,
Yeah,
I can just.
we just recently we bought a bread and we had sauerkraut. You know, like
Oh yes,
sauerkraut and
sure.
bratwurst. This is something very, very German.
Yeah.
Like, and we were like kids. You know, like I mean, like, we had so much fun. We were eating for 3 days sauerkraut and bratwurst. You know, it was just like we bought so much that we had to eat it for 3 days. But it was such a joy actually, because it reminds you to so much, you know, the taste and the flavor and things like that. And I think everyone, I said to Alfie, I can actually now understand the Chinese people when they travel the world, you know, and they mostly bring these weird food stuff with them in the suitcases, you know, like chicken feet and I don't know what they like. For us, it's quite weird, but maybe for them it's something, you know, like for us, sauerkraut and bratwurst.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a very big South African community across the UK, and there are South African shops here, so you can get the firm favorites like Mrs. Ball's chutney or fizzer or whatever you want. Iwi's, you can find those things. They are readily available. Um, of course, I miss the warmth of the people. You can. While London is a very vibrant city, an international city, it's so multicultural. When you're out here where we are, a bit of a uniform sort of demographic, and it's very typical English, and it is lovely to experience that culture, but the warmth of African hospitality, and especially Johannesburg. I'm from Joburg, and where people will very quickly strike up a conversation and have a drink later. It's I miss that as well.
Okay. Well, we don't want you to miss too much, and we want you to go back to work so that this next.
No, we want him to go to have a braai because it's Friday night.
Yeah, but we want to see this published, a new edition. When do you think is coming out?
Well, that will be dependent on, and I'm going to unashamedly push, a call to action here now. So any of your viewers that are desperate for business and want to, be on the list of suppliers for the 2021 weddings that will now start planning again, please get in contact so that we can provide you with some advertising solutions. But as soon as it's economically viable for us to publish a magazine, we will. We are not going to. It's more important to bring an issue out than to make maximum profits this issue. And I know I'm going against what every grain of my commercial sense now, but we need to get an issue out to kickstart the industry and to kickstart planning. So get in touch. Nubian Bride.
How they get in touch?
What is the best email address, maybe, or what is the best way to contact you?
info@nubianbride.co.za, or I think that would probably be the best.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Okay, even content ideas, so we're not going to just ask for business. We're more than happy to give great content ideas. Submit your ideas. Let's work together as a community, as an industry, and get a rock solid and beautiful, highly inspirational edition together and get it to market as soon as possible. So for both content ideas and content submissions, info@nubianbride.co.za, as well as any advertising related inquiries, same email address.
Perfect.
Wonderful. Where's my tongue? Like I'm not getting right with tongue. I think there's my tongue.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you, ladies,
for your time to spend with us. And I think it was interesting also to hear from in a way, not directly like events related, but obviously very involved into events related industry. I think I mean, every industry is super important, but I also like know that, I mean, the publishing industry has had some difficult times. But we just hope that content really prevails over everything, and you're doing an amazing job. Not just
Thank you.
because we had the pleasure to also be featured a couple of times, so thank you obviously for that. But I really think that your magazine, and I also like to touch, you know, I also like really the
I
magazine
don't
style.
want the paper go away. I'm sorry, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but this is what it's nothing actually compares to like put
Browsing.
one page after another and to have something in my hand.
Yes,
This is amazing.
Yeah.
I need magazines.
Yes, so
Well,
so
Paper
that's why
magazines.
we just wish you all the very best from South Africa. Obviously, that as soon as traveling is allowed again, you can put your feet on South African bush soil.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all. And yeah, all the very best. Stay healthy. I think that is right now also one of the most important things for all of us. And
regards to the team, regards to your wife, and
Thank you
we can't
very
wait
much,
to see
ladies.
what the next Nubian Bride content will be.
Yeah, so people, if you have anything that is content related, advertising related, please contact Eric on the Nubian Bride. Thank you very much for
Thank you,
your time.
ladies. Lovely
Thanks,
talking to you.
Eric.
Nice seeing you again. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All the best.